Welcome back to the FOSS Structures of Life unit taught in grade 3 in Boston Public Schools. My name is Ashley McKenzie and I'm here to go over Investigation 2, Growing Further with you. Investigation 2, Growing Further has 3 parts, which will take roughly 3 class sessions. And then you will need additional time to observe the bean life cycle over the next few weeks, just 5 minutes tops. You can even just send 1 kid to do it, 2 kids if they finish their work early, so it doesn't need to take out of extra class time. During this investigation, students are going to describe and compare the property of germinated seeds. They're going to plant seeds hydroponically and observe and compare plant structures on different seedlings. You will need the class sprouter from last time. So like I said in Investigation 1, I hope you didn't throw it away. I hope you kept those seeds. You're going to also need those small sprouters. Let students investigate the germinated seed and make their own analysis before correcting them. If they're incorrect with the parts of the germinated seed, there's going to be an investigation where they're going to look at the seeds and they're going to talk about what part they think it is. Let them make mistakes before correcting them. That's important in the learning process. Part 1, Germination. This is going to take 1 class session. You're going to need the class sprouter, which will hopefully look like this picture. Lots of seedlings inside at different stages. You're going to need those individual group sprouters. Again, hopefully lots of seeds inside those as well. Hand lenses and paper towels. You're going to need to save about 30 sprouts for part 2. So if you want to take those 30 sprouts out of the class sprouter ahead of time so you are sure you have it, do that first and then let the students work through them. Or what you can do is you can tell them to be gentle and not break them, and then take 30 of the best sprouts from all of them and keep them for part 2. So this part 1 germination is usually completed about 7 to 10 days after you first plant them in the sprouters. So make sure you have time to let the seeds have roots, stems, and little tiny leaves growing. But like I said, they're all going to be at different stages, so don't worry about that. You actually want that. And if you look in the bottom right-hand corner, you can see where students are going to find examples of each stage and place them for each of the different seeds. So the pea, the bean, the corn. You want them to find the swollen seed, one with the seed coat on, one with a leaf, one with the root, and they're going to put them on a laminated piece of paper just to show examples and why they think it. They're going to have to defend why they think that is that. And they're going to have like a group discussion amongst themselves. You can go around and see if they're staying on task. Part 2, Hydroponics. I like this one a lot. It's pretty cool. Kids like doing this as well. I have an embedded video of how to set up the hydroponic growing. It walks through step by step on how to do that, so feel free to watch that. You need to do this very carefully. You can have the students do it, but they need to be careful not to snap the sprouts. It's easy to do it in these growing chambers, so they need to be very, very careful, okay? They're going to use these sprouts in the hydroponic setup in part 3. So some of the materials, you're going to need those 30 seedlings, at least 30. We say 30 because we leave room for breakage. You're going to need at least 2 hydroponic chambers and 4 of the hydroponic pads, the nutrients to mix into the water. There's an embedded assessment after part 2, and you can have the students do this by themselves. I kind of use it as a mini quiz. Do they know what we've learned so far? Do they need any clarification on misconceptions that they have? Have I completely forgot to teach something? Or are they right on task? So I like to do this after part 2, before moving on to part 3, so I can clarify anything that needs to be clarified. Part 3, Life Cycle of the Bean. So this is just going to be a few minutes every class for 8 weeks, and then 1 class at the end of the session to talk about overall growth. So students are going to record growth from the 2 plants. They pick one. Maybe you could just point an arrow or put a little sticker next to it, which one you're going to observe and measure over time. Pick one from each hydroponic chamber. Maybe they want to pick the one that's growing the best. but make sure you're measuring the same exact seedling over time. You don't want to switch around, or else your numbers on the chart will look very different. You're going to begin this roughly 6 to 7 weeks after the bean goes through the life cycle. You're going to have students observe it. What I usually do is I have someone who finishes their work. I have a little station in the corner of the room set up with this. And if someone finishes their work, they know to go right over, measure one plant, record it on the cycle. And then the second person who finishes, they'll measure plant 2, record it on the cycle. You keep the yarn right around that tack, the measuring tape right up there tacked as well. And we just record it that way. We don't need to do big discussion on it while we're in the recording phase. We save that for the one class session at the end. There's also a math extension that usually comes in each unit. Multiple, I should say, for each investigation. There's usually one. And this could be used as both a time filler or 10-minute math in the morning if you do that.